a little change in the program for a moment. Hey, thank you. I'm playing a different guitar for a moment. I thought it would be appropriate. I have some friends from Fender who brought this down here. Fender has a bunch of great people that work here, and they also own this Charvel company that makes this fine Eddie Van Halen guitar. And I couldn't resist bringing it out to play it because when I started playing guitar, you may or may not know, I was a little influenced by Eddie Van Halen. And there was a time when we got a suspicious phone call to our house. I was 12 years old. I'd been playing guitar maybe 7, 8 months, something like that. And I was obsessed. You know about Crunchy Water. I was obsessed with Van Halen at that moment. I listened to my father's music a lot, but of course, at that time I thought, there's no way I can play that. And it took a whole lot of time, all these years later, and I still thought, there's no way I can play that. But, you know, over the past few years, I've taken up a few challenges. In any case, I brought this out because that suspicious phone call that we got was a guy claiming to be Eddie Van Halen. And he said, I want to meet Frank Zappa. And so my mom had answered the phone and she said, hey, Dweezil, pick up the other line. There's a guy, says he's Eddie Van Halen. I had never heard Eddie Van Halen's voice. This is 1981, somewhere thereabouts. There was no MTV or anything that showed you all these musicians and, you know, their cribs and all this bullshit. It was all about listening to music, and you had to use your imagination. So in my mind, the only thing that could possibly indicate the sound of Eddie Van Halen's voice was in the song Unchained. There was a guy who stops in the middle of the song. Now, I have no idea if it was Eddie or if it was somebody else, but he says, come on, Dave, give us a break. Or give me a break, whatever he says, right? So I'm listening to that on a loop in my head, basically, and I'm listening to this other guy trying to talk to Frank, and my dad just had a feeling that, yeah, it was him, so he invited him over. 20 minutes later, Eddie Van Halen shows up at our house. He's wearing the Women and Children First jumpsuit, and I almost lost my mind. I mean, the guy, he shows up and it's like a living superhero walks into your house. I mean, he might as well have been backlit with smoke and all that stuff when he shows up. And of course, I put a guitar in his hand right away and I said, play Eruption. So, I'm gonna play Eruption. Probably not as good as Eddie Van Halen, but I'll give it a shot. Let's just make sure this guitar works. All right.